Someone lied to me. They told me that British people aren't funny. And I gotta say, this is the most hilarious thing I saw all year. And by the end of the video, you guys will agree. On the surface, this is tragic, right? But if you're a cynical Romanian like me who notices things, you will understand why it is the most hilarious thing you've ever seen. The man fought in World War II, and he's basically saying that he doesn't feel that it's worth it. He doesn't understand why he fought for such a country. Now, the news anchor asks him, like, well, what do you mean by that? You know, like the leftist argument. It's like, can you tell us what you mean by that? What do you mean? Why is the country not good? Like, can you say something politically incorrect? Can we say something so that we can attack you? Now, if you look at this bar over here, right? You know, the one with the scrolling text. The whole thing becomes like a South Park sketch, right? So, let's see. Why would it be that he doesn't like the country in the state that it is now? Like, what could possibly be wrong with the nation today? Well, the first segment that we get is that the previous crown prince, Andrew, has been summoned to appear before a U.S. committee in order to explain links to pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. This is just like the start, okay? Like, this is not even the creme de la resistance. But again, like, these are people operating in the news environment. This is their news. This is their subtitles. And they feel the need to ask this elderly man. It's like, well, what is wrong with this country today? Like, well, why don't you like it? What is the problem with it? Right? Let's keep watching some more of these the interesting news segments. And again, like, this is from Good Morning Britain, right? Like, I'm not taking them from 4chan. Prime Minister angry and frustrated over a mistake release of 2 inmates from prison in London. Police are still searching for sex offenders. Released in error. Okay, like, for those of you who don't know the story, this shows the incompetence of the government, right? Like, there are stories about the malice of the government. This is the incompetence. So, they managed to arrest 2 Algerian sex offenders. Why is Algeria in Britain? I don't fucking know, but, well, it is what it is, right? So, like, Algerians traveled all the way to the United Kingdom in order to commit sex offenses. You know, like, this used to happen historically. Anyway, right, they locked them up. And then, like, another one, a third Algerian, sent a fake email, like a spoof email, to the person responsible with the prison, claiming that they're part of the British government and that these people are now part of a release program. And apparently, like, there wasn't enough fact-checking, right? Because the British government probably hired some of the most competent people on earth. And they released them. And now they're like, oopsie. Again, you know, like, you're asking this man, it's like, well, why aren't you happy with your sacrifice? Like, you saw your friends dying, you went to the war, you know, you fought against the Nazis, and you're telling us that the current nation doesn't satisfy you. Why? Like, we can't figure it out. Internal reviews reveals anti-black racismus baked into metropolitan police, claiming darker-skinned staff are often confrontational, right? So, again, I just want you to understand that in a world where... okay, in a world where one of the royal family members is accused of being involved in an international child trafficking ring, in a world where you have Algerians, right, coming over, committing sex crimes, getting arrested, and then the government going, oopsie, as they release them, we need to focus on anti-racism and the fact that certain black-skinned police officers... 11 people arrested during protest. Yeah, again, this man, right, claims that the reason he fought in World War II was for liberty and freedom. Is he getting that? Based on their own headlines. Like, I'm not searching the internet right now, you know? I'm not going on X to find, like, controversial news story. Instead, I'm literally reading their own transcripts. And I want to, again, like, point out just how disingenuous these people are. Like, to even ask the question, why don't you like the country now? Like, the question itself should be insulting. Especially like when you know that they work in the media and they are very much aware on what's going on. But like, again, the way leftists operate is to fake ignorance, right? Like, this is their talking points. They pretend they don't know. They pretend that they just arrived. They have no idea about context. They have no idea about what's going on. And they ask this question not because like they want to know, but it's in the hopes that maybe they can get a soundbite. Maybe this elderly gentleman can say something that's politically incorrect. You know, maybe they can run some headlines out of it. Like, seriously, you know, go back in World War II when these people were fighting the Nazis and they were fighting for freedom, right? Like, they're fighting against tyranny, they're fighting against dictatorship. They don't want the government to rule over every single aspect of their lives. They don't want the Gestapo, they don't like the censorship, you know, they don't like books getting burned. And you show them a vision of the future where the government has CCTV footage on every single street, where they're using AI in order to figure out what people post on social media, where the phones are being connected by geographical location so that the government is aware where a citizen is, at what time, what his recent transactions were. You know, like, show him a clip from Twitter with a guy that's protesting and a police officer says, "I'll see you at home." And you know that police officer will actually see him at home because there's around like 40 people arrested over social media posts in Britain every month. And you show that to a World War II person, they're going to say, you know what? Maybe it's better under the Nazis because the Nazis don't have access to any of this shit. Well, like, I can only hope that the Nazis will be backwards enough to be unable to develop this system to actually save my child from the future government. Like, no, seriously, like, think about it, right? Like, what did the Nazis have? Well, they had informants, right? Like, they had the people ratting out on their neighbors. They had, like, the school system, they had the academia, they had the newspapers, they got the television. But that's pretty much it, right? And people were horrified. It's like our liberties. Well, now the British government has all of that, and on top it's got AI, it's got CCTV footage, it's got geolocations, and it also has the mentality that it actually has the right to do any of these things. It also has like a component of mindset called nudging, where they try to manipulate public opinion, and during COVID they use Project Fear. And you have like the audacity, you know, you have the balls to ask one of these veterans, it's like, well, what's wrong with the country today? What do you think is the problem? When your own headlines show what the problem is. Shameful display. Shame. Shame on this news anchor for working with these people. Like, seriously, like, if you're a news anchor and you made a name for yourself, it's time to go on social media, become independent. Stop working for the BBC. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.